Sorry, everybody. I know the live's been silent there for a few minutes. Literally just got in from working, and yeah, I had to get cleaned up and everything. So just really quickly got in here. I apologize it took so long. Anyway, let's get right to it. We got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Marshall County. Some 60 mile per hour wind gusts looks possible out of that. Looks like this stuff actually is moving a bit further to the east northeast and was what we was thinking there. Let's take a look anyway with the warning. Immediate broadcast severe thunderstorm warning for west central Marshall County in northeast Alabama, Coleman County in north central Alabama, southern Morgan County in north central Alabama until 8:45. A severe thunderstorm was located over Sardis, or 11 miles northeast of Arley, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gust. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Areas impacted include Coleman, Hartselle, Guntersville, Arab, Redstone Arsenal, Hanceville, Good Hope, Falkville, Holly Pond, and Dodge City. So let's start tracking this stuff out really quick. Make sure everything's set up properly. So again, we're tracking this activity here just to the west. Some very good looking bow echo going on there with that. Looks like it'll move on up into Huntsville. Looks like Huntsville's really close to that. So it looks like Huntsville, of course, is also in a warning area. Let's take a look at those damaging winds. So this kind of caught me off guard. As most know, we've had a pretty rough day today. My grandma being in the hospital, and also I haven't been really paying attention to what's going on, but just got notified of it. So most definitely see some of those pockets of 60 mile per hour winds, possibly, yeah, very close to 60 miles per hour going toward Priceville, also Hartselle area. Now let's go on down toward Marshall County here. Take a look at that. So it does look like there's some gusty winds and stuff going to move into Marshall County. But according to Doppler radar, at this moment, it looks like the highest of the winds are going kind of to the north toward Triana. So that'd be just to the northwest of Marshall County, up around Triana, forgive me, Redstone Arsenal, Huntsville area. And going on to the northeast there. My goodness. I'm losing my voice here. I apologize. But yeah, it looks like the most intense of that is moving over Priceville right now. I wouldn't doubt if that's not a 60 mile per hour right there. Yeah, that is a 60 miles per hour right there. On top of Priceville, actually showing 64 miles per hour. But we're still kind of high up from the radar beam, so I'm going to put it about 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts going over Priceville right now, moving to the northeast toward Triana. Very intense looking little bow echo there on that cell as well. But it does look just a bit like it may be weakening just a little bit compared to what it was, but it's still showing 60 mile per hour on there. Pretty good little pocket there, and elsewhere 50 plus mile per hour winds. Of course, that's going to be tracking up toward Huntsville. Looks like Triana, Huntsville area. Madison County, of course, could be getting in on some of that. It looks like they will be getting in on some of that. Let's move to a closer radar. Go a little bit further. See if this one's actually a little bit closer, and it may not be. Okay, so the good news is, looks like the severe stuff, I mean, even though there is a warning over in northwest or central Marshall County, which includes some of the western portions there, it looks like the heaviest, I mean, there is still warnings on this stuff I'm noticing. I mean, I'm seeing some of this, potential damage and winds even in stuff like this. So something we'll keep an eye on. This is all tracking off into our area. So, I mean, if it does continue with the strength, there could be some warnings going up for southern Marshall County and southwestern DeKalb County here within the next little bit if these storms do continue and they don't weaken out. If they do weaken out, we could expect some gusty winds, very heavy rainfall from these storms. So again, haven't been around the loop of the weather today. I've officially got, lost out on it because of everything going on. But luckily, person on ham radio was like, "Hey, you seen how rough it is up in Huntsville?" And I'm like thinking to myself, "Huh?" So sure enough, I grabbed my phone up and opened the app up, and wham, there it is. So yeah, pretty nasty stuff coming through. Let's take a look at chat really quick. Nothing, for Fort Payne yet. It is possible that Jackson County might go under a warning if the storms do continue with their strength. It looks like this a little echo here. We got a bow echo. It looks like it's lifting northeast. I know this is going to be far from a straight line. But if it does continue and it stays like it is, with these damaging winds potentials, it is possible that northwest portions of Jackson County could go under a warning there. Then, it'd be a little bit, but it is possible. See if we're still seeing those damaging winds in there. And we're still seeing very close to 60 mile per hour. Okay, we got 63. It just updated. So, yeah, 63 miles per hour there showing up on Doppler radar. So, definitely a severe thunderstorm there without any doubt. So, and let me take a look at the rotation side of things, see if there is any. At the moment, not seeing nothing very, too concerning rotation-wise. There is an intense shelf cloud with this thing, though. If you're around Mooresville, Triana, Madison County, you're going to be seeing a very angry-looking sky coming your way with this thing, like a really intense bow echo on the radar. So, and also showing me signs. Of course, there's going to be a shelf cloud with it because of how intense it looks there. So, very intense-looking little shelf cloud. Will be, visible with the lightning in it. We are seeing just a bit of lightning in it. They're not, a crazy amount of lightning with it, but there is some. Okay, we just got a notification. Storm's entering near Crossville, according to the map there. I think that's just kind of a heads up. I know my pager has not went off. Neither is my weather radio, so that's a little bit concerning. So we'll move back over in here. So I do see a cell that's popped up now that is actually going toward Crossville, so that's going to be what they're referring to. We'll keep an eye on that little cell there. Right now, the severe stuff, though, is still embedded in this area here around Aniana. It's lifting to the northeast, so Douglas, you'll be next in line over this here. Some gusty winds possible with that. There is a warning on it by the National Weather Service in Birmingham that covers the area of Sneed and Susan Moore. Right now, the Huntsville Weather Service is not extending that into Marshall County yet for that part of the storm anyway. I do see some signs of some potential damaging winds embedded in that cell there near Sneed, moving to the northeast. So Douglas, there is a possibility you could get some gusty to potentially damaging winds. Possibly. Let me get back to the velocity and look here. I know it doesn't look like they're extending the warning on that yet to include Douglas. Yeah, and I'm not seeing any severe wind gusts in it. So we'll keep an eye on that. At most, you're going to see some very high gusty winds off of this stuff. And this is a big warning box. Just look how big that area is right there. That's crazy. So we're still, our main area of concern is going to be this area here right now. But there is possible that some more warnings could go up in Marshall County if it does continue. I do see a bit of a weakening trend going on with this stuff here, but it's still got some embedded wind gusts in there that could be over 50 miles per hour. So we'll see how it behaves as it continues to move our direction. That area that was 60 miles per hour, I don't believe it's there anymore, but still some upper 50s showing up. 59, so that's still considered severe. So 59 mile per hour winds going towards Triana. So yeah, 58 miles per hour is considered severe limits. So still over severe limits here, wind-wise, going towards Triana. So Huntsville, you'll be impacted by this pretty shortly. It's moving off to the northeast at almost 60 miles per hour, so it's moving quick. Moores Mill, you're in the path. Decatur, you're getting it right now. Madison County and then Huntsville will be getting it here pretty shortly. So let's Okay, let's back up here. I do see a ton of rainfall with this stuff, so we will get these thunderstorms over here. I know we've been a little bit out of the reach of things lately because of what happened earlier. A little bit of misinformation went on with that, but we panicked and we ran to the hospital anyway, of course. So that being said, good news. She didn't have a stroke, as we was told, but she just got some bad infections in her body, and if she don't get them out of there, she's not going to be around much longer if they don't get rid of them. So, but the good news, she didn't have a stroke. So let's get back to the weather here. Still watching some strong stuff. We will have some come through here, Crossville, Geraldine, Dawson area. All this is lifting off to the northeast, so we will get some of this thunderstorm activity. Let me look at a future radar map really quick and see if we can get an idea. You see, we wasn't supposed to have any severe weather at all today. Like, I looked at the SPC models just a minute ago, and they was not showing anything. So that just goes to show these summertime thunderstorms, they can really pack a punch when they come through, and not even really be aware of it being, expected. Okay, so let's look at our forecast loop here. Okay, back it way up. So we're showing at midnight, there being a possibility of some more of, some of this activity as well moving through. I see a ton of rainfall with it on the radar right now. So yeah, nice little line. Looks like it comes through around midnight. And looks like some of those could be some heavy thunderstorms there, being on the strong side at the moment. That is showing to be at midnight. Then we get, of course, some more scattered stuff coming through after that, around 3 a.m. Some more scattered stuff moving out, and then it looks like it just completely moves out. And don't see anything until around Sunday or Monday of next week, where we could have a threat of some very heavy rainfall on Sunday. That's the next thing I'm looking at here. So we could have some very heavy rainfall on Sunday. Let's take a look at the chat really quick. And then if you're in Etowah, if you're around Sneed or Altoona area, you've been under, according to the radar here, and you've been under, I'm looking at two different radars. They're both showing the same thing. You've been under a severe thunderstorm warning for a bit. Now, the Weather Service has allowed that to expire, and the ones that's moving into Gadsden, Rainbow City, I imagine we're going to probably get a special weather statement out on this stuff as it enters in Albertville, Boaz, possibly into DeKalb County, southwest portions, around Collinsville, Geraldine, Crossville, Skirham areas. We could get under a special weather statement shortly, but right now, strong thunderstorms will impact Calhoun and Etowah counties through 9:15. At 8:27 p.m., Doppler radar tracking a strong thunderstorm along the line extending from near Brooksville to near Lincoln. Movement was northeast at 40 miles per hour. 40 mile per hour wind gust. Areas impacted Gadsden, Anniston, Oxford, Jacksonville, Rainbow City, Atala, Piedmont, Hokes Bluff, West End, Cobbtown, Fort McLean, Killen. I hope I said that right. That's kind of hard to say. Sacs, Glencoe, Weaver, Sardis City, Ohatchee, Altoona, Hobson City, Walnut Grove, and Reese City, all in the path of that. So this little batch right here is already going into, about to be in Huntsville. Man, it is really moving. The Weather Service still has central Marshall County under a severe thunderstorm warning, so be ready for some gusty to potentially damaging winds with this stuff as it moves through. And there is a possibility there could be some warnings in our area, but right now I'm not seeing nothing very concerning at the moment. I am seeing gusty winds with this stuff. And I do see a batch of some damaging winds down here too, further south, but we're pretty high up at this point with the radar beam, so that's looking pretty high up into the storm right here. So that may be a little bit too, yeah, that's way too far, looking way too high in the storm there. So looks like Birmingham canceled one of the warnings there, so that's some good news. Continuing to track this stuff to the northeast, just really seeing it weaken on out, honestly. Except for this part up here. It's where my most concern is at right now, is right up here around Huntsville. No tornadoes that I've seen yet. I do believe I've seen some tornado warnings earlier, but these storms right here are going to be producing some very high winds that can easily blow branches and stuff around with no problem. This is going to be some stout winds, most definitely. And looks like it may be trying to get, strengthened back up just a bit from the last scan there that I was just looking at. Oops. And yes, this storm is really moving quick. So yeah, starting to see those reds come back in there, and but looking at the velocity scan, let's take a look at the winds here. At 54 miles per hour, there's got to be a 58 in there somewhere. Right now we're in 40s and 50s, but earlier we was over 60, so I would not doubt if there wasn't some wind gusts over 60 miles per hour as they came through there. And these winds will be very capable of blowing, limbs around, even knocking down some pretty large trees. Triana right now has got 58 miles per hour, so that's considered severe limits. So right over Triana, we got a 58 mile per hour wind gust showing up in that part of the storm. So very intense line moving through here. So if you're in, let's say Athens, you're getting the activity now. Madison County, Huntsville, Harvest, all in a big severe thunderstorm warning there. And be in Huntsville here very quickly at this rate. And the line is, showing some intensification just a bit from what it was. So yeah, there's a very intense shelf cloud ahead of this thing. Okay, so we got a cell now moving into Douglas, about to move into Albertville. Some gusty winds with that. Let's see if they have put anything out. Okay, they have not put anything out yet for Boaz or Albertville. And by the radar, I'm not seeing much either. I do see some gusty winds in there. It looks like that was a 47. We're really close to the radar beam. So there's some 40 to possibly 50 mile per hour wind gusts in parts of this storm here that's going toward Albertville. So there is going to be some gusty winds with it. There's still a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for central Marshall County. And let's see if we have got anything new there. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning still in effect until 8:45, which we're approaching that time right now. Storm was located over Sardis, or 11 miles northeast of Arley, moving southeast at 50 or northeast at 55 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gust. Possible with that, areas impacted: Coleman, Hartselle, Guntersville, Arab, Redstone, Arsenal, Hanceville, Good Hope, Falkville, Holly Pond, and Dodge City. Good evening, Tom from Mentone. Good evening, everybody. I haven't had time to look at the chat. Hello, Thomas, my brother up there, admin. Appreciate you. All right, let me step back for just a moment. I got something to do, and I will be right back. Won't take me a bit of All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. We do have some new warnings in effect, so let's take a look at those. And I believe that's going to be for Jackson County, as I was just talking about. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Jackson County and northeast Alabama, Madison County and north central Alabama, east central Limestone County and north central Alabama, and south central Lincoln County and middle Tennessee until 9:30. At 8:40, a severe thunderstorm was located over Madison, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour, hazard 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Areas impacted: Huntsville, Madison, Moores Mill, Meridianville, Redstone Arsenal, Hazel Green, Skyline, Gurley, Harvest, and Alabama A&M University. So we was just talking about this here just a moment ago. And this storm is definitely packing a punch with some gusty to damaging winds. And they are going right toward the northwestern portion there of Jackson County, around High Top and Skyline. Some very intense winds with that. Now we're starting to get this a little bit closer to us. Still seeing some very high winds in that, so actually damaging, but we're still pretty high up too. So we'll wait till it gets a little bit closer. But there is still a warning in effect. That includes Arab and Guntersville. And that is in effect until 8:45, so another 2 minutes and that warning will cancel. So we'll continue to monitor this stuff going toward Jackson County. So definitely hearing some thunder. Watching this cell here, there was some signs of some hail in it. It's going to be approaching Crossville here shortly. Now we got a storm also approaching Albertville and Boaz. Could be some gusty winds associated with that. No special weather statements out on it yet. But there could definitely be some gusty winds associated with that activity. So if you are in the northwestern portions of Jackson County, please take your precautions, as you know there could definitely be some damaging winds in there. There probably more than likely will be if you're around Skyline, High Top area. Could get some damaging winds in there, most definitely. 60 miles per hour, maybe a little higher than that. And again, those areas impacted in that warning include Huntsville, Madison, Moores Mill, Meridianville, Redstone Arsenal, Hazel Green, Skyline, Gurley, Harvest, and Alabama A&M University. So if you're in them areas, be prepared for some damaging winds of 60, maybe some higher gusts possible in there. These storms, did have a history of producing some wind damage just to the west of the area there as I was moving across. Let's take a look at those wind damage reports there. Yeah, when it was back south of Florence. Very nice little area, damaging winds now. About to be right on top of Huntsville. Okay. I see somebody asking a question in the chat there. Let me get back to it. Okay. So if you're in Grant, I'm not seeing a warning at all there. Yeah, there's no warning at all there. It looks like they just canceled that warning out for that side of the storm. So it looks like if you're in Grant, you have a threat of some gusty winds, possibly 40 to 50 miles per hour. Let's take a look. Get that back where it was at here. And there is a gust front developing ahead of this thing, so this could influence thunderstorm development. It's also showing me signs that it's going to be producing some damaging wind, so there is a gust front out ahead of this thing now. We're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. But right now, the warning for central Marshall County has been canceled. There are storms moving into the area. They will be containing some gusty winds. Can't rule out another warning on it. You know, maybe another one of these may produce some damaging wind gusts. Possibility. So Albertville's getting some of this activity now and about to be Boaz here pretty shortly. And then it's moving to the northeast. Crossville, you're getting a little bit of a thunderstorm right now. It's about to be in Crossville. Right now, watching showers of storms develop pretty heavily, tracking across northeast. So we'll definitely get our share of thunderstorms tonight with some heavy rainfall as well with this stuff. But right now, the only warning in effect is the one that's in for northwestern Jackson County and areas of Madison County. Right now, that's the only warnings that we have right now on the radar. It looks like everything's really falling apart. But we're still very warm outside. It is 75 degrees out, so still very warm out. But in Grant, you'll be getting some of that activity here probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Just some gusty winds and very heavy rain, lightning, thunder, all that good stuff. I can hear it outside right now, thundering pretty good. Currently looking for any rotation in any of these cells, which of course we didn't expect any severe weather, today. When I last looked at the SPC models, they didn't have anything but thunderstorms. So still don't see, tornadic or anything, but I do see the damage of wind gust. So now this activity is over Huntsville. They're getting some very high winds out there over Huntsville. Owens Crossroads, you'll be next as well. Some gusty winds, far northwest portion there. A tip of Marshall County getting that gust front right now. And just some very high winds with this stuff at the moment. Rotation-wise, I haven't seen any. And usually when they're outflow dominant like this, it really does, unless you have multiple systems meeting each other. We've seen that, in the past, that multiple systems met each other, started doing this exact thing, and they ended up, causing several tornado warnings to go up. But usually when they're like this, we got, one system. Usually when they're like that, they're pretty low chance of a tornado developing within them, but not zero. Nothing looking too organized at the moment. All the activity now moving over Albertville and Boaz, and we just got a new notification out. Special weather statement now in effect for Marshall and Madison and Morgan counties. Also a severe thunderstorm in effect for Madison and northwest Jackson County. Winds up to 40 miles per hour with this stuff. Areas impacted southern Huntsville, Hartselle, Guntersville, Arab, Redstone Arsenal, Owens Crossroads, Falkville, Gurley, Morgan City, and Somerville. Nice little swath of gusty winds there. Special weather statement out on that side of the gust front, which is pretty much right ahead of that. And it does stop before it gets to Grant. So it's pretty close to Grant, but not like right on it. So you can still get some gusty winds, and you will get some gusty winds from this. Let's go back to one pan here. So yeah, look at that rainfall out to the west. I mean, if that makes it here, there's going to be a lot of rain. My goodness. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if a wake low didn't develop. I mean, in some of that, behind some of that rainfall, that is some very intense rain. So it's just pouring down over Russellville, Hamilton. I mean, I imagine there is some flash flood warnings in effect over in Mississippi from this stuff, so it must extend pretty far. And it actually does extend pretty far. Looks like it's all kind of tracking northeast, into our area here. So some very heavy rainfall with this stuff coming in. Lightning, thunder, all that good stuff. And it looks like that cell there is going to come right over me. So I hear the lightning and thunder outside right now. Boaz, you'll be getting some of this here in a minute, pretty shortly. I know you're hearing a lot of lightning and thunder with this as well. I'm going to get it back to the dual pan there just to be on the safe side. So, man, that's 63 miles per hour showing up there south of Albertville. We'll keep an eye on that, make sure that's not a false reading. If it's not, there should definitely be a warning. I don't think that's legit, though, because I just seen RF come up over my thing here indicating that it was not legit. So I do think that more legitimately would be probably 30 to 40 mile per hour winds coming into the Arab area with this stuff. Now, that's not surprising. I think that was a false reading there because this went down way too quick. That should not have went away that fast. And we do have rain right now. What? No. Okay, that's 100% not legit. I can guarantee you that's not legit. Yeah, that's definitely a false reading. It showed 98 miles per hour there for a minute. Now it's back down to in the 40s and 30s. So, yeah, 30 and 40 miles per hour seems pretty reasonable for what I'm looking at with this activity. So that's what it looks like you're going to be getting over there in Arab. Now, some gusty winds, as well as it's entering Guntersville, Albertville, and here in Crossville right now, we've only got 3 mile per hour winds out of this cell that's coming through. It's tracking off to the northeast. Very heavy rainfall, though. It's really coming down out there with this thing now. These look like very heavy rainfall makers. So let's move back up here to Jackson County. This cell's really hauling it out through there. It's about to enter in. Now, even though you're not in the warning, if you're in the Paint Rock areas in Jackson County, you're still going to get blasted by some gusty winds, probably 50 miles per hour, 40 to 50 maybe. Let me look along this line. Yeah, we got 40s, we got 50s in there. So, yeah, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds possible if you're in the Paint Rock area. And also following along this gust right here that's going to enter the New Hope area, Owens Crossroads area, eventually the Grant area. You'll get some gusty winds with it as well. So right now we've got about 10 mile per hour winds at the moment. So yeah, these things are going to start producing a lot of rainfall. I can tell that by this outflow boundary up there, or gust front rather. And kind of obvious. I mean, they've been producing heavy rainfall for a while now. Got a wind damage report here. That was definitely not legit. Somebody just accidentally hit it. Okay, so what does look like a legit reading here is just this cell coming into possibly the Guntersville area. Now, that does look look like that is a legit signature there. 55 miles per hour. We're about to watch that area. If that is legit, let me move back. So yeah, there is a special weather statement in effect, but nothing severe. Yeah, that's pretty much looks about right. So yeah, we have a storm now. There's lightning there too, which is giving me a good indicator that that is a legit signature. So there is a 57 miles per hour it's showing. So if that's the case, there should be a warning going up with that. Possibly if it's actually producing 47 mile per hour or 57 mile per hour winds. Apologize. 58 mile per hour now, just going over Albertville and Guntersville. So if that is true, there should be a warning in effect for that cell there. That is now about to come toward Guntersville, but it's not adding up with a radar signature, to be honest with you, at the moment. Looking at it on the left. So there could be some gusty winds in there, but giving me a lot of false signatures tonight, which is kind of odd. So we'll just watch that for another few minutes, what we call it. It's still kind of strange. Yeah, it's not adding up with the resolute reflectivity on the left. So yeah, I'm not going to rule out there's not a pocket of gusty winds there, but I don't think it's as high as what the radar's showing. Looks like it's spreading out a bit. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt at all there's not some gusty winds with that going toward Guntersville. Some 40 to 50 mile per hour. I think that may possibly be a bit exaggerated though. 61? That's got to be exaggerated out unless something going on that the radar's not detecting. On the left here, take a look. Nothing newly issued. Unless that is a downburst. Because I'm, looking at the left there, it shows up and then it just kind of goes away. Let me do something really quick. Yeah, I think these signatures here may be a bit exaggerated, just to be honest, because that just doesn't add up. Oh my gosh. Perfect time for a fight with the neighbors with a stick. Maybe the rain will cool them off. But I am seeing legit signatures of some gusty to damaging winds with this cell here that's going into northwestern portions of Jackson County. These signatures I know are legit. So some 50s, possibly some 60s, still showing up as it's crossing over Huntsville, moving on to the northeast there toward Moores Mill, New Market, Ryland area, and then eventually parts of northwestern Jackson County. But at the moment, that's the only warning we have on the board, so that's good news. But yeah, these signatures here are not true signatures, and it's sometimes it's hard to defer between the two. So if you're just looking at the velocity here, it looks like there's 70 mile per hour winds right there north of Union Grove. But looking at the reflectivity over here, there's nothing there that would add up to that. So that's it. It can be a bit confusing at times. But here, I mean, you got obvious signs right here that there's damaging winds with this. It's pretty obvious. So, and even looking at it through the velocity scan, or just regular storm relative velocity there, you can see it too, even through that scan. So northwest Jackson County, get ready. It's on its way. I imagine you're getting some very gusty winds over Owens Crossroads, about to A New Hope, Woodville, Paint Rock, Gurley, even Grant areas pretty shortly. You'll be getting some of those gusty winds ahead of this gust front. So some heavy stuff developing over southwest portions of DeKalb County now, continuing to enter on into our county. Nothing severe with it at the moment. Just some very heavy rainfall. I do see some signs of maybe some gusty winds with it. Let's look at that through another scan here. So yeah, 28 miles per hour maybe. Nothing too, exaggerated or anything here. Some very heavy rainfall for certain. So hopefully this trend continues. It just keeps dying down. Hopefully that is the case. We do have some pretty good activity, though, entering southwest portions of DeKalb. Also areas over Albertville, Boaz. This is a big old area here. Showers of storms developing. Nothing severe at the moment with that. Still, the only warning we have is up here in northwestern Jackson County. So you guys up there around Skyline, High Top areas, y'all could experience those 60-mile-per-hour winds as it comes on through. And I'm looking at the chat now. If you're in Averona, you're probably getting some of that activity right now, just to be honest with you. Okay. No problem, Judy. Judy, thanks very much for watching. I'm trying to get everybody's comments here. I mean, I don't think it'll be like last week. There's definitely some heavy rain and gusty winds with it. Right now, the only warning is in northwest Jackson County. So, if you've been interested in storm spotting and chasing, you probably would want to contact me on that because I do both. I'm also an amateur radio operator too. So I do a little bit of all of the above there. Could contact me personally in Messenger. I'll give you some info on what to do there. Nothing been mentioned for Fort Payne right now. We've only got 14-mile-per-hour winds at the moment, so there is some gusty winds in this. I think now getting a little bit higher. Looks like about 13 to 15-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, this is just rain and thunderstorms at this point. I'm not seeing anything severe other than that cell going toward Jackson County. We did have some gusty wind reports in Albertville, which was to be expected out of this. Let's get the radar back on the dual pan mode. And we got 20-mile-per-hour winds here with this cell. So these storms are going to be capable of producing some gusty winds because we've got them right here. 20 plus mile per hour gusts right now. I know the radar's showing around 38. So I don't doubt that being true a bit. So I'll say these cells will be capable of some 30 to maybe 40 mile per hour winds as they're coming our way. We've got a measured 21 right now. So that's like right where I'm at. So far it's hanging at 21. Very windy out. So I would not doubt at all if these storms here are not producing some 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. We got a 30 right now at the station here, a measured 30. And the radar showing 34 mile per hour here, possible. So yeah, we've got measured wind speeds confirming that these storms are capable of producing these kind of winds. So if you're up in this area here, we've got some higher wind gusts. I wouldn't doubt at all if these storms here are not capable of 20 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, anywhere right in there. As this stuff comes across, this cell here is tracking off toward Geraldine, Lakeview, Fife, Rainsville, Powell, Sylvania, Langston, Section, Dutton. So anywhere in this big batch here. Okay, that was a pretty stout gust right there that just hit. That was a 25, it says. Let's see if it goes up. So anywhere in this big batch, there could be some 30, maybe higher wind gusts with it as it's coming through. Let me check the gust really quick. Okay, let me answer this call real quick. Hello? Sorry about that. I'm back live on Facebook here, which I've been live. Didn't go nowhere. Just answered the call there. No, it wasn't Jesus calling. I'm afraid he don't have a telephone. If he does, I would already been on the phone with him a lot. So, oh my goodness. Give me a second, everybody. Yeah, sorry, I was telling her live on Facebook. It's been a day. Oh man. Anyway, let's get back to it here and look at radar. So far, all we have was some close to 30 mile per hour wind gusts out of this stuff. We're still watching this stuff move into northwest Jackson County. That's actually why I'm still live, because I'm watching this stuff here. That's the only warning at the moment. Our power is flickering pretty bad here, so hopefully we don't lose internet service. Because it is lightning pretty good here. Power is flickering on and off. But right now, behind this stuff, just some very heavy rainfall. It looks like I'm not seeing any more warnings, but there is a ton of rainfall behind this thing. So, yeah, there is some very heavy rainfall behind this system here. So, we'll continue to watch it, though. We're going to watch and wait until Jackson County gets cleared, and then we're going to just go back to monitoring, go back to let everybody go back to what they was doing. But right now, our main concern is northwestern Jackson County. There is still a warning there. And looks like we did just get put under a special weather statement right as that went through. Doppler radar tracking a strong thunderstorm over Geraldine, or 13 miles southwest of Rainsville, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Hazard wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Areas impacted: Fort Payne, Rainsville, Henniger, Crossville, Sylvania, Fife, Powell, Geraldine, Valley Head, and Hammondville. So we had total gust of about 43 miles per hour. We are getting reports of power outages in Marshall County due to some of this wind. Looks like 1,346 customers have been affected by these winds. And let's see, that's going to be with Marshall County. Our power is still flickering on and off here. So there is a pretty good power outage there. 6.0% of the total customers are out of power in Marshall County. So there is a bit of a power outage with that. Power outages just extending all the way into Blount County, all the way down to Jefferson County, going further, all the way down to Tuscaloosa. Like, there is a gigantic area of power outages going on. So there's some very stout winds with this. Now let me move you guys back to the other radar here that shows you a bit more information. And let's go ahead and do that. Move you to the next radar. You'll get to give us some more information of pretty much what's causing all this mess here. So let's go switch to that radar. And you can see the cold front there in the northwest portion, actually moving through Mississippi. So let's get right to that. I did not mean to open that radar up. Hopefully it don't crash everything. But yeah, backing it up, this right here is what's responsible for, all this mess here. There's our cold front coming through, pushing on in from the northwest. So this will all continue to push on off in our direction. And all these blues you're seeing are power outages. So take a look how far down they go. I believe this could actually seen somebody ask, would this be considered a MCS system? I mean, I'm not a meteorologist, but in my terms, this is a pretty big system here. So I would say it's a possibility this could be determined as the MCS system because it is so big, a very large area system here. But the good news is, out behind this, not really seeing anything else, and even behind this stuff here, still that warning in effect, and it's just now entering into northwestern portions of Jackson County. After this stuff moves through, it looks like we're, good. Just some heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds, because I've still got a 22 mile per hour gust outside, so it's still pretty windy out there. Let's move back to our additional radars. There's still a big mess out there. And Fort Payne, I got 26 miles per hour. That was measured wind speed. That's not a gust. The gust was up to about 40. So I'm going to say you could get 40, maybe 50 miles per hour there with that stuff as it's coming through. So we had the gust is pretty much just really sudden, like it's something that really suddenly happens. So most people don't think it even got that rough, but with a measurement instrument like I have, it actually shows it. So let's get back to our other radar here. I'm going to shrink that up just a bit, try to get it to fit a little better in the box. And you can support us to help us continue these streams because, these radars aren't cheap. Neither is any of it cheap for that matter. So you can help us out. We've only got Cash App at the moment, Dekalbcwx. That is all we have at the moment. But if you'd like to just share, and that's another way to support us. Like and share our content. That helps us out a bunch as well. So either way, win-win there. We appreciate it for sure. Right now, though, Paint Rock getting some really gusty winds in Jackson County and getting closer to Skyline. So I believe this will be getting out of here pretty shortly. So that's in effect till 9:30, I believe. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect till 9:30. That's going to be for northwestern Jackson County. So Jackson County, after you get this coming through, you're going to have, the northwest portion, you'll just have some rainfall behind it. And then after that, if you're around Langston, Albertville, everything's done moved northeast of you. Boaz, all northeast of you. Guntersville, northeast of you. So you're just going to have some rainfall. Geraldine, Crossville, still got some heavier rainfall, shower, thunderstorm activity, as well as Lakeview area. All that moving to the northeast. You're going to have some gusty winds with this in Fife, Rainsville, Sylvania, Fort Payne, Valley Head, Henniger, Ider. That's in DeKalb County. And Jackson County, Pisgah, Scottsboro, Hollywood areas. You're going to have some gusty winds with it. Also, Paint Rock and Espell area. Grant, everything's kind of pushed off northeast view, but there's still some gusty winds associated with it. Also, seeing a gust front develop with this activity here. So it looks like another gust front's trying to develop. Yeah, right there. There is a little bit of one. So far, everything's looking good. Other than some gusty winds, and still watching that stuff over there in northwestern Jackson County moving through. And Paint Rock, you're getting some pretty heavy thunderstorm activity there with some gusty winds. I'm still seeing some damaging winds in that cell there. Potential for some. Okay, we had a 60 there, so there's still some high winds in that thing. Saw something there that grabbed my attention really briefly on the scan there. Yeah, not seeing nothing rotation-wise, so it must just be a little hail core that developed. So let's see if we've had a update or anything on this. Okay, last update was at 9:07. Areas impacted by this would be Huntsville, which is already passed, Moores Mill, Meridianville, Hazel Green, Skyline, Gurley, Alabama A&M University, New Market, Harvest, and Lincoln. So seeing those damaging winds now hang out over the Ryland area, or just about to go over you, approaching actually on top of New Market now. Hazel Green, you got some pretty gusty winds too. So if you're in Skyline and High Top over in northwest Jackson County, be ready for some gusty winds, possibly damaging winds with that, because it is continuing to move on off to the northeast. So it's like it's getting more of a northeasterly trend on it now, instead of the northern, as it was going earlier, kind of north. So entering Jackson County right now. Yeah, nothing too bad other than that warning. I haven't seen anything else of concern other than this area here. So we'll track that till it gets on out of here and do Tennessee at least. So again, if you're in Skyline and High Top, be ready for some gusty to potentially damaging winds of 58, possibly 60 mile per hour wind gusts with that. Also, Paint Rock and Woodville area. areas as well, because that's a pretty intense little cell there, even though it didn't look like the winds were making it that far. There's definitely some gusty winds in there, 38 miles per hour, 47, 41, so just different. It's pretty good wind gust in there. Seeing some additional development with that gust front, which kind of expected that. Keep an eye on that development. But there's going to be gusty winds with this whole system. So, you know, this is a really big system, like a really big area. And this does, to me personally, you know, look like what would they would call an MCS. Because that thing extends for a long ways away. Let's see how far this thing extends. Yeah, this thing extends almost, I mean, like, I know it goes way further south than that. This line extends around 170 miles. This is a big area here that we're dealing with of storms. A very large area. Strong winds in Scottsboro, power flickering in Rainsville. Yeah, that's it was doing that here as well. Thanks for the reports. Just some gusty winds right now, James Justice. That's all I'm seeing at the moment. So yeah, there's going to be a lot depending on the heavy rain here, because right now it is pretty much stationary over here in western and northwestern portions of Alabama. Now my concern is with this kind of heavy rain. Like usually you get wake lows that develop on the backside of this stuff. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, and they're impossible to forecast, and they're just about almost as impossible to spot. But on the backside of rainfall, especially with a cold front coming in, I mean, there is a possibility that there could be a gust front, low pressure develop on the backside of that thing. And if it did, that's a big if. There's no guarantees of any kind with it. It would be something that would just happen, you know, pretty much unexpectedly. And those winds could wrap up pretty high. When you get wake lows, you can get wind gusts, you know, 50, 60 miles per hour, and they last for a bit. And usually they're on the, you know, backside of heavy thunderstorm and rainfall like this. This is some really heavy rain over Florence, Russellville. It extends pretty long. It extends all the way south by about 90, I think that's 81 miles. Yeah, 90 miles south toward Tuscaloosa. And as I was mentioning about a wake low, I do see some signs of some spiraling going on the backside of this rainfall here. And that could be an indication of something trying to develop with it. And I'm also noticing some additional thunderstorm activity over in Mississippi ahead of the main cold front. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this system here, because I do believe there possibly could be a wake low developing, or there already is one, by the motion on the backside of this thing. So bear with me, everybody. I'm going to go look around here on online here. I'm looking for some information really quick. So we are getting reports of vehicles being blown around. That is by the police department in Rainsville. Said a vehicle was blown into the other lane. So some pretty good gusty winds with that stuff as it's coming across there. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. So it looks like this activity will stick around till about midnight, and then it starts to move on into move on out along that cold front there. We should have a pretty nice day for tomorrow. Should dry out as this cold front does move on through. Looks like it'll last the cooler air mass, and drop in humidity will last until at least Sunday. I'm going to say I think Sunday's when it showed the strong or some very heavy rainfall possible. That outlook was just posted up a few minutes ago, or actually I think an hour ago. We posted that up, and just until then, pretty pleasant out. Still watching this cells moving through not Marshall County, northwestern Jackson County. And get back to my scan here. Yeah, I'm not seeing those bright colors anymore. So I do believe there's some strong winds in there. Obviously, there's still some strong winds in there, but the damaging winds that I did see, I don't see at the moment anymore. So I did get reports of some power poles down near Domino's, according to Rainsville Police Department, or actually Rainsville Fire Department. I apologize, reporting that. So we did have some, I think this is going to be due to a accident that has happened over in Rainsville as this system did progress on through. There was some pretty good gusts through there, some 30 mile per hour, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, no sign of any rotation as it went through. So that's going to be gusty wind related, or I think it caused an accident. So, yeah, still didn't see no damage of winds go through there. So we do have one little pocket of gusty winds with this cell here it's about 55 miles per hour, and that's going toward High Top. Skyline, it will be on top of you shortly. So gusty winds with that activity, but I think we're about ready to wrap things up here because I believe that warning will be canceled out right now. So 9:30, that warning will be canceled. So it's 9:30 right now. National Weather Service has canceled that severe thunderstorm warning and replaced it with a special weather statement, which also includes all of DeKalb County, just about, and just about all of Jackson County too. So let's read this out. Marshall County, Alabama, under this. Madison, Jackson, Franklin, till let's see, was that issued at 9:22. A strong thunderstorm will impact northeastern Marshall, Jackson, northeastern Madison, Moore, Lincoln, and Franklin counties through 10:15. Doppler radar tracking a strong thunderstorm near New Market or 12 miles northeast of Moore's Mill, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Areas impacted: Scottsboro, Winchester, Fayetteville, Bridgeport, Lynchburg, Deckard, Estill Springs, Stevenson, Cowan, and Hollywood. And the special weather statement for DeKalb County is out. Looks like that is until 9:45. Through 9:45, Doppler radar tracking a strong thunderstorm over Geraldine, which was earlier. Wind gusts of 50 miles per hour. Areas impacted by this: Fort Payne, Rainsville, Henniger, Crossville, Sylvania, Fife Powell, Geraldine, Valley Head, and Hammondville. That stuff is well northeast of Geraldine right now. It's also past Rainsville. Looks like it's going toward, through Fort Payne. So this right here won't be in effect very much longer either. Yeah, you're safe to drive toward Fife or Geraldine. It's just be prepared for the winds to be pretty rough, and some heavy rain. Okay, so you have electricity in Rainsville. I know they said power poles were down around the Dominoes in Rainsville, and that could be due to no power in Rainsville. Okay, got reports of that. Of course, that I believe that was due to a vehicle being blown, into it. Now, don't hold me to that because I don't know the whole side of the story there, but that's all I got. Which I don't think a vehicle will cause two power poles to fall down. I mean, I'd hope not, but you never know. Okay. Okay, Colbert County Emergency Management issue. We're having issues with our repeater and aware the tornado sirens did not function as they should have tonight. We're working diligently to get the repeaters back online tonight for any future events. From Colbert County Emergency Management, National Weather Service has canceled all warnings for Colbert County. We only expect light rain over the next few hours, which is to be expected. All right, everybody, so we're going to get ready to wrap it up. Everything severe has moved on off to the northeast, and I'm not seeing anything severe, but I do see some gusty winds. So if you're in Henniger, you're getting some gusty winds. If you're in Ider, you're about to get some gusty winds. Valley Head as well, you're about to get some gusty winds. Shiloh, about to get some gusty winds as well. If you're in Jackson County, Scottsboro, Hollywood, Stevenson, Bridgeport, High Top, Skyline, gusty winds coming your way if they hadn't already came through. Thank you, Kathy. Anything helps. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, just went through Rainsville, no power at red lights. 27 mile per hour at Skyline. Okay, yeah, that's... So, yeah, they're still reporting poles with lines down. Okay, power line down south end of Fort Payne. I know these winds got pretty rough. But you got to consider we've had a lot of rain lately. The ground is pretty saturated. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I went to sit in our hammock outside, and we've had it there for a long time. It's been concreted in for a long time, and I went to sit in it, and I went to the ground with it. So the whole pole pulled up. So yeah, the ground pretty saturated out there. So I wouldn't doubt a bit pushing that over. Okay, lots of power lines down in Rainsville in front of the Super 8 Hotel. Well, they was definitely due to gusty winds, and that the ground's already pretty saturated out there. So that's interesting for sure. Alrighty, not going to hold everybody up. Be prepared as it comes through. Those that haven't got it yet, you will. High Top area should be getting it momentarily. Stevenson, momentarily. Bridgeport. If you're in Shiloh in the far northeast corner of DeKalb, that's going to be northeast of Ider. Gusty winds coming your way. And if you're in Ider, gusty winds coming your way now. Valley Head as well. So, wow, if you guys got photos of this stuff, send it in. But like I said, the ground is very saturated out there. Very, very saturated. Because like I said, we've had that hammock up for probably 6 or 7, 8 years, and it's not ever fell with me. And I went out there to sit on it, and it literally pulled the whole pole up with me. So, yeah, it's pretty saturated. But all right, going to get out of here. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and just enjoy the rainfall. That's what we got coming. Possibility of some more storms as this main line comes through. And I believe that was later on into the night hours, like after, you know, I don't know. I'll have to look at the high-resolution rapid refresh to get a better idea. But yeah, they do have PD aware that the power stoplights are out. Sorry about that. Power's out up there. So again, if you're up in if you're up in DeKalb County around Rainsville, sounds like there's power outages there. If you're in Fort Payne, sounds like there's power outages there. And if you're in Scottsboro, also getting some reports of some power outages. Yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high on that, but yeah. So you guys without power. So we do have 2 poles that are broke. And this could be accident related. Like, I mean, if it was a big truck, a semi, yeah, absolutely guarantee it's possible that it could broke those. Also, if it was trees that fell, could definitely broke them. So, you know, 2 scenarios there that it definitely could be. Trees down at Matheny's Bridge. Please stay clear. Okay. Yes, just tree reports down everywhere with this stuff. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be posting as much info as we can. I thought about hanging out just a bit longer since people are posting in the comments that there's trees down in the area. But if anybody gets anything, send it to me in Messenger. I'll get it up. So God bless. Take care. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there. If you're on them roadways, be safe. And yeah, it is safe to go to bed at this point. This was not expected. So don't think that I've just been lazy today. This was not expected at all. Like, we was not supposed to get severe weather with this. So that just goes to show these summertime thunderstorms can really cause a problem. So they really can. They can be really intense without, you know, really a warning about them. They can be really intense. Transformer blew up in Scottsboro after I drove under it. Looks like a tree. Oh, goodness. Okay, so Old Highway 35 at 44 is completely blocked. So, yeah, prayers for guys in the fire department up there in Rainsville, and prayers for the PD. Y'all be patient with them, and, you know, all that good stuff, because they're wanting to get out of there just as quick as you guys are wanting to get out of there. So be safe, be patient. There's a lot of damage across the area as far as trees down, power lines, stuff like that. So just be careful. If you encounter a power line, don't drive across it. You know, report it to 911. Don't get out of your vehicle. If you do run into a power line, don't get out of your vehicle. For goodness sake, don't be touching anything metal in your vehicle, because you don't know if it's live or not. So you're safe in your vehicle as long as you don't get out of it. You know, if you hit a power line, you are safe in the vehicle. Just, you know, keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch anything until first responders get there, and you'll be safe in your vehicle. But if you step out of it, there's a good possibility you're going to be electrocuted by it. So it's just don't even get out. You know, if you was to run into one, park your vehicle, you know, just don't move until you get the fire department or somebody there to help you out. So take care. God bless. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here, everybody.